And that World Masters final, like the Fulda Kachi match, went down to a decider. Alcaide very famously doubling the 9-ball to achieve a thrilling success. He's not been in the best of form, Alcaide, here, one has to say that. And so based on the way they've played, these two, to get to this stage, you have to make Kazakis favourite. He's unbeaten. He overcame Paul Taylor 9-1, then Vincent Gomez 9-3. And Tyler Steyer 9-8, having been well behind in that match. Steyer had a chance to win, Mr. 3-ball. As for Alcaide, it's been struggle, struggle and more struggle. He beat Fabian Breuer and Benji Buckley 9-6 in his first two matches, but then lost 9-7 to Davy Piergiovanni from Italy. That sent him to the one-loss side of the draw, and he nearly lost there. He overcame Francesco Candela by the odd rack in 17, 9-8, having been 8-7 down. So Alcaide needs to bring about a radical upgrade in form. So these are the matches currently taking place. Wojciech Szewczyk is through against Karol Skaversky. Nikos Economopoulos was behind early against Marco Dorenberg, 5-3. Now though, Economopoulos leads 7-6. Sanyan Perlovanovic, he's 4-0 up on Pius Labutis. Jonas Suter Camino beat Naoki Oi 9-6. Michael Schneider, he defeated Senarip Azar 9-3. Mohamed Soufi and Darren Appleton have shared the first 4 racks on table 14. Matthias Snigotsky has defeated Abdullah Al-Yusuf 9-4. Ronald Regley 9-2 over Imran Majid. As we see the order of play here on table 1, we know about the Fulda match. That really was a classic, and I use that term advisedly. After this, Oscar Dominguez takes on Tyler Steyer, and the winner of that will play Fulda. Joining me in the commentary box for this one is Carl Boys, and Carl, you've seen countless pool matches. Fulda against Kachi was one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, I didn't get to catch the beginning of the match, but I kind of tuned in just around near the end, and sort of when Fulda made that mistake at 7-7. But I'll tell you what, I've seen a lot of pool players. That kid is something else, he really is. I mean, he consistently keeps delivering, Phil, when it matters. Them hill matches, 8-7s, and with this new break format that we keep harping on about, the balls are just, you know, you're not going to get as many easy splits, and just the last 2 racks, even when Kachi missed that combo, which he'll be kicking himself because that was more than makeable, he just gets down and just keeps knocking these balls in. He is something else.
Absolutely right. Okay then, so the practice is over. The real thing begins.
First look at Kazakis here on centre stage, so we're going to get to see what his break is all about.
We've just seen an extraordinary end to the 7th rack on table 2. You can watch, of course, the table 2 action all day and throughout the week on the Matchroom Pool YouTube channel. It looked as though Khalid Algamdi was going to take a 5-2 lead over Oliver Szolnoki from Hungary. The 8-ball was over a pocket, but Algamdi needed to screw off it. Deep screw. What did he do? Miscued so violently, the wide ball left the table, and so Szolnoki now trails only 4-3.
2-ball is trickier for Kazakis. Good luck getting on this one, buddy. And he hasn't. That doesn't pot in this corner, so let's see what he fancies playing here. He could actually play a full-length bank. That is super attacking, don't get me wrong. Can he kill the cue ball behind the pink 4? Use the purple 5 to hold the 2. Anyway, let's see what he's got in mind. Good to see Kazakis here on the main table. David Alcaide, he had a little scare last night. He played Candela from Italy He survived that match with a hill thrill. A big crowd over on that table. I went over to have a little nosy myself, and he actually made a really good run out fill in the last rack, so that's going to give him belief moving forward.
Yeah, needs something positive, because overall he's been nowhere near his best.
It's a good shot. Good speed. Good line.
Result to give you one of Alcaide's fellow countrymen. Jose Alberto Delgado has beaten Sebastian Batkowski from Poland 9-7. And Chris Melling is out, beaten 9-6 by Radoslav Babica. And congratulations to the New Zealand teenager Sullivan Clark, who's beaten Davy Piergiovanni 9-5.
Jump shot is easy to get over the 8 and hit the 2, but he's thinking, is he thinking holding the cue ball near the 9 and the pink 4? The problem is that 2 ball will be travelling quite fast. I think Alcaide benefits from the shot clock. I think when the shot clock is not in operation, I think he's just too slow.
You know, absolutely those same sentiments I've had all week with him. The shot clock makes up his mind for him.
And he's trying to stick. Well, he's made a mess of that. He was just trying to hold that cue ball near the 9, but he was worried the 2 ball was going to have too much pace. Funny game, Nineball. You play from the lowest ball on the table to the next lowest ball, and sometimes you're just faced with shots, and I think the general public watching just think it's easy. It's like this shot. Yeah, it's easy to pot the ball, but that pink 4 ball's a big ball. And you see how he just missed it? He had to play with a little bit left. If he'd have played that with plain ball, he would have caught the 4 ball, and people watching who have never played probably think that was just an easy shot, but there was a little bit of skill involved there.
Do you remember the World Cup of Pool when Thailand came in as a late replacement for the Philippines, and we had 2 Thai snooker players, Tepchira Nu and Nopon Sangkam? Well, after that I saw Nopon at the Championship League snooker, and I said, what do you make of the pool? And he went, oh, very difficult, very difficult. And I think his eyes were opened.
Well, his eyes will be even more open, because next season, once we start seeing the 4-inch pocket on all these tables and this tough break, life's going to get a lot harder if some of these snooker boys decide to come and play in a few more events. They've had it easy so far. Doesn't want to be contacting the 9 unless he flukes it in the pocket. Maybe he does want to be contacting the 9. He would have been okay, Phil. He was on the 5 ball.
Now that's what they call a U-turn sentence from Carl Boyce. He doesn't, he does. Yeah, he did. What a fluky way to win the opening rack. It doesn't hurt so much when it's the opener. If that had been the decider, David Alcaide would have been going back to Spain, feeling very annoyed, very aggrieved. By the way, over on table 2, the Oliver Sholnoki comeback has just continued. He was 4-2 down against Khalid Al-Ghamdi. It's now 4-4.
We've already seen this break from Kazakis, trying to pot the 1 ball. in the left centre. Let's see where it goes. It goes in. Good break. It does have a shot on the 2, but this is what we're seeing time and time again. There's always a tricky little opener shot. Very few racks I've seen so far this week have been a road map. And a road map, if you're not familiar, is what they call over in the States, where the balls are pretty much unmissable, the finish. So that 3 ball, he's got to get on the far right hand side of the table. Good news is he has a nice angle on this 2 though.
What an international affair this is. 28 nations are represented in the last 64. 4 continents. 4 North American players, 6 from Asia, 1 from Oceania, 53 from Europe.
Yeah, and let's be honest, Phil, it could be even stronger. Filipino players, Chinese Taipei players. He's concerned, I believe, once he pots this 3 ball, cue ball looks to be tracking towards the purple ball, so that's what's just stalling Alex at the minute. Was pleased for Alex, Phil, when he won the World Pool Masters after what he did the year before. He showed a lot of character, I thought, there in Gibraltar when he picked up that title last year. Oh, maybe he's drawing through the gap. He is drawing through the gap. Needs this to get away from the 8. Doesn't want to sit on top of it. And he's okay there.
Yeah, the whole thing about the World Masters with Kazakis, really strange, because in terms of the standard of the pool he played, he actually performed to a higher level, I thought, when he lost in the final than he did when he won it. And he wasn't impressive in the semi-final the year he won it either. Came through a very scrappy affair, and then, lo and behold, whitewashed Shane Van Boening for the title.
Well, he'd like to play that one again. Didn't need to be nowhere near the side there. That's just a misjudgment of the spin and the slide. He probably would have thought he was going to slide a little bit more. Anywhere above the centre, he would have had a shot. So, big mistake there from Kazakis. On table 2, Oliver Szolnocki. He's tied 4-4 against a 17-year-old young man from Saudi Arabia. Khalid Al-Ghamadi, he's played well this tournament. But Szolnocki, Phil, he's one of these players that, you know, he's yet to win this big event, but he's always there, isn't he? He really is.
If you'd never seen a pool match and you saw him play, you would not think he was an elite player. He's got a very ungainly action, and yet he's so effective. The turning point in this match so far, and I've mentioned it before, Khalid Al-Ghamdi was 4-2 ahead, 8 ball over the pocket, and literally over the pocket. But he had to screw back off it for the 9, miscued completely. The white ended up on the carpet. Szolnocki won rack 7. He won the 8th as well, and now he's massive odds on to win the 9th. It was a foul shot that determined this rack as well, wasn't it? The scratch to the middle from Kazakis. I just get this could be a real dogfight.
Yeah, both players, not the most fluent players on the circuit, just take a little bit more time. Obviously, when you've just watched the likes of Joshua Filler play, he's as quick as they come. So, I agree with you, Phil. I think both these players will be bearing down on every shot just to make sure.
We're back in time to see Oliver Szolnocki take the lead for the first time in the match at 5-4. Other scores for you. Mohamed Soufi from right here in Germany, 4-3 up on Darren Appleton. Sajin Berlovanovic, 5-1 up on Pius Labutis. Thomas Kaplan from Poland, 6-2 up on Fabian Negline. Daniel Corrieri, 2-1 up on Jan van Leerup. Roman Hebler, 5-3 up on Jani Uski. Mario He, 7-1 up on Mats Shetner from Norway. And Alexa Pashelsh, really improving sort, playing out of Serbia. He's 3-3 with Max Lechner.
David to break. He's lost a cue ball, got too much spin into that, and he sort of screwed off that side rail and missed all the balls. Here's another look. Watch the cue ball. Actually arcs off that rail, doesn't it, Phil? It arcs across and just finds that middle pocket. Doesn't look like... Oh, it doesn't look like he can pot this one ball, does it? Maybe it goes past the 7.
Well, if it does, it's a tight squeeze.
Is he playing the combo on the 7, or is he just tucking the cue ball in behind it? Obviously, we're just guessing here. We've got the same viewers, you viewers at home. It does point that corner though, doesn't it? If you put it on the rail, could he not just jack up and jab it in and play the 2 in the side? Anyway. Oh yeah, he's played the combo. Well, he's played both. 2 for 1. Why not? So he's deceiving that, isn't it? And then when you go to the overhead camera, you see there's a big gap in between the 2 balls.
Well, funnily enough, you should say that. I was watching the previous match between Filler and Kachi, and a couple of times the commentators were wondering whether a ball would go, and I was watching from the balcony, and it was quite clear they would.
This needs to slow down a little.
Well, if there's any kind of manoeuvrability, and there clearly is on the 4, he should be okay here.
We were talking about that final that Kazakis lost, and when I was speaking about it, I'd actually forgot it was David who he played in the final. Of course it was.
Yeah, I was commentating with Alex Laley, and when Alcaide banked the 9-ball length of the table, Alex was shouting and going crazy. It really was a wonderful atmosphere.
Well, since that day, Phil, I know a few of the pros now, when they've got a full-length bank on a ball, it's actually known as the Alcaide now. They call it the Alcaide. He'll just spin this round, maybe 2 rails. He's a bit risky, though. Yeah, 1 rail. He didn't go 2 rails, even though he'd have been okay. He could have found that right-hand long rail, but he just didn't want to risk under-hitting the shot and hooking himself behind that 9.
And talking about risking under-hitting, what about the terrible positional shot that almost cost Filler in the previous match? In rack 15, not dropping on the 9. had he lost that match, he would have been haunted by that shot.
Yeah, he would have been sick, and I've just done an interview with Joshua right after that match, and I said, do you think you made that mistake because it's not all run-out pool now? There's a lot of safety shots, and it's a bit more stop-start, and that's what the players want. And then when you get a chance, you sort of go into autopilot, and that was something that is very unlike Filler.
He made amends in dramatic fashion. Nothing too dramatic in this one yet. Early days, Kazakis leading Alcaide 2-1. A lot less busy in the arena now, of course, as the number of competitors has dwindled down from 256 when we started here on Tuesday morning to 64 at the start of today. And there have been further casualties. Nikos Economopoulos, the former World Cup partner and good friend of Alex Kazakis, is through. He's defeated Marco Dorenberg 9-6.
Good to see Nikos going well. One of the top European players 8 to 10 years ago. Seems to have dropped off the pace a little bit, obviously with COVID and other things going on. Sometimes it's not always easy, but he's back, he's giving it a go, and he is a class player, has a very high gear.
Now with this break, had the 3-ball been tied up, Kazakis would have been really peeved to see the 2-ball knocked in by the 6, but it made no difference because the 3 is nicely in the open anyway.
Yeah, and this is one of the easiest layouts we've seen off the break in the 4 days we've been here. Good chance for Kazakis. Just control the cue ball and you should be out.
Collectively, it's a good tournament, this, for Greece. They have 3 representatives in the last 64. Apart from Economopoulos, who's through to the last 32. Kazakis, of course. And Christos Papageorgiou, who plays a little later against Dennis Graber of Estonia.
Purposely trying to hold the 5 over the pocket. In that instance, it probably wouldn't have mattered too much if it had fell, but even so, he didn't want it to fall. You've watched a lot of Q Sports and a lot of Nineball over the years, Phil. What's your view on the change of break rule?
Well, I can't agree more with the introduction of what they've done. You speak to all of the players. I know Jeremy Jones and yourself have been going around and mingling and mixing and asking their opinion, and you will rarely find a dissenting voice. So the players like it. It makes for more interesting matches for TV. It's a win-win. Have you come across anyone, Carl, anyone who doesn't like it?
No, I haven't. The only thing I've come across is some of the players are saying that they're all for the rule and everything, but they just want a rule to be set and just kept, basically. They just don't want it to keep changing. That's the only thing that a few of the players have said. But, it's early days. We're trying to find the right formula, of course.
Yeah, I can understand that. You want continuity, of course, and I think because it is so popular and it's been such a success here, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I guess it's not going to change. We will find out about what's going to be the case for the upcoming US Open in due course. So 3-1 on our table. Khalid Al-Ghamdi looking to get back onto level terms over on table 2.
Yeah, and he's going to be faced with a tricky 8-ball now. He's got to play this down the long rail, and so often you see the players just catch the point on the middle pocket, and that causes the miss. So tough shot coming up for the young man.
Well, I can tell you, Alcaide missed it. We'll let you know how that rack ended up.
One ball deposits again. That is the theme of the week. If you've been watching the full event, I'm sure you've heard me harp on about this. But he's no shot on the 2 ball. So unless he fancies a lunatic shot and cutting it in, he's got to play safe. And I think it is a safety. Yeah, he's just banking the 2 up onto that side rail and trying to lock the cue ball on the 4. It's not a bad effort. Maybe he's left a little edge. Shalnoki also missed the 8 ball over on table 2, so Khalid is back at the table. Be good to see the young man from Saudi go deep in this event, Phil. Really nice kid he is, 17 years of age. Whenever I see him, he always stops for a chat. Nice guy.
Yeah, it's big news over there, his progress here, and quite rightly so. He has a very, very wide stance. Tall and thin.
And he makes the 8, and he's nicely on the 9, so that match is about to be all squared at 5-5. We expect this now from the last 64 inwards. We've got rid of the dead wood, if that's a kind phrase. Now it's the best of the best left.
5-5 it is. We've got rid of the dead wood. Is that a kind phrase? Well, it's not a kind phrase, Carl. It's a very disrespectful phrase.
It's okay in Blackpool, Phil. Relax.
You get driftwood up there, not deadwood.
Yeah, we started with 256 players, sold out in record time, of course. I think in about 20 minutes probably, and it's actually good because you get a lot of players who maybe live local and they want to try it out. They want to, you know, play a first round against a Jason Shaw or a Filler, a Darren Appleton, you know, legends of the game. Why not? Give it a go. And what it does do is it shows Matchroom how popular Nineball is around the world, because the UK Open, the European Open, and no doubt when the US Open starts taking entries, it's just selling out in no time, Phil.
Which begs the question, when are we going to see the first 5-1-2 tournament?
Phil, relax, pal. You know we've got to commentate on that. You feeling all right, buddy? 60 now, Phil, aren't you? 60, the big 6-0. Recently, I believe.
Yeah, stop reminding me. Please. I commentated on my birthday.
Obviously you did.
Championship League snooker, you know, some things have greater priority than a landmark birthday.
Something tells me you had a nice big cake.
Yes, that was thanks to Phoebe Millen from Matchroom. It was, you know, I'm not a great lover of cake, actually, despite my large size. It's for other reasons. But that cake was really nice. So I actually disprove the theory that you can't have your cake and eat it, because I did.
What cake was it? Can you remember?
It's like a sponge cake, yeah.
Jam? Cream?
Yeah. Jam, cream, all that, yeah. Ticked all the boxes.
Well done to Phoebe for sorting that one out.
Yeah, this gives me an opportunity to shout out to Phoebe. She looks after us so well throughout the year, both in terms of snooker and pool. I don't know what we do without her. She's such a hard worker and always a big smile on the face as well.
Well, we've not had a cake this week, have we? So Maybe she's been a bit tied up this week. Potting this ball is easy enough for Kazakis. He should be okay. Well, it looks like he's lost the cue ball though, hasn't he? He didn't want to go that far over. He's missed a trick there because centre of anywhere in that box, the break box would have been fine. He could have slotted it in the side pocket, and now he's left himself a tester. He looks like he's under it a little bit to me, Kazakis.
At the end of this rack, I'm going to give you a little story about my birthday, which I know will amuse you, Carl. Now, this is a big part, especially with him being in a healthy position here, trying to make it even more so.
Slightly jacking down, well he was, but he's got back up. I think he's worried. There you can see the angle. If he rolls this cue ball through and just pots it, he feels like he can't hold the cue ball in time to stay on the 7. So this is why he's slightly jacking up. He's going to just stun it in, but this makes the pot awkward. And usually if they miss this, they hit on the right hand side of the pocket. So let's just pay attention.
What a call from box office.
Well, that's why they pay me the big money, I'm afraid, Phil. And it's a poor mistake. He's 3-1 up, but he's made a couple of mistakes already, and I just feel like if Alcaide can just claw his way back into this match and stamp some authority, I think he's gonna be going favourite. I really do. He'd like this to keep rolling though. Yeah, I think he's just okay.
Yeah, he needs to find some inspiration, Alcaide. He's been a little pedestrian, as you pointed out, most of the week. Needs to find a catalyst, a spark of excellence. We haven't seen it yet.
Body steered that in now and again. David does have that manner about his game. Ideally, you should stay still on the shot, but pool players from all over the world have developed their own unique style sometimes. You see some funny cue actions in the game of pool. Both players are definitely just feeling it a little bit, you can just tell.
Yes, absolutely feeling it. Alcaide is not himself this week.
No, I mean the body swerve on the previous A, and this is just unforgivable. Just lunging into it. This is worrying times. This.
Now our roving referee there came over to rack up the balls, and Alex Kazakis had to tell her that Alcaide had missed the 9.
Well, they've got a tough week this week. They're on the feet all day, going from table to table, racking the balls. Alcaide does right. He takes the glove off. He's gone for a timeout. He's going to go and wash his face, give his head a wobble, and try and regroup for this back end of this match.
Yeah, missing 9 balls like that for an elite player, that really is a hurtful experience. Alexander Kazakis 4-1 ahead now. Yeah, that birthday story I was telling you about, Carl. Rang my brother and he said, many happy returns. So tell me this, what are you going to buy me for your birthday? Talk about twisting traditions in your own favour.
Well, he knows you've got a lot of money stashed, pal, doesn't he? Nothing wrong with that.
Well, I did actually buy him something. I bought him some new golf balls. But that's another story entirely.
What was the Dunlop? Slazenger?
Oh no, he has to have the best. Has to have the best. Yeah, Titleist Tour. And the annoying thing is, he never loses any when I play him, so it's a double-edged sword. I didn't even get the pleasure of seeing a few go in the lake.
Well, at least you don't have to buy any more.
Then we'll find something else he wants. Don't worry about that. I can tell you on table 2, Khalid Al-Ghamdi has gone 6-5 up on Oliver Sholnocki in a match where there's all kinds of twists and turns and shifts in momentum. Other scores, Roman Hebler now 7-3 up on Jarni Uski. Mario He on the hill against Mats Shetner from Norway, 8-5. Moritz Loareins from Belgium, he's 2-0 up on Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. And Dimitri Jungo, fine player from Switzerland, 3-0 up on Niels Fine. Max Lechner, 4-3 up on Alexa Pachalsch. Daniel Corrieri, 5-1 up on Jan van Leerup. Valerie Kuloyens and Moritz Neuhausen. The two Germans have shared the opening 2 racks. Mohamed Soufi, 5-4 up on your pal, Darren Appleton. And as we go over to table 2 for a moment, I can tell you Sanyin Perlovanovic is on the hill. After a dominant display, he's 8-1 ahead of Piers Laboutis.
Khalid actually sent Skylar Woodward into the left side of the draw. Brought him into the losers section. It was a big win. And he was 6-2 down, and this is a tough match for the young 17-year-old. So to be 6-5 up, he's showing some good fighting qualities.
Yeah, I believe we commentated on that match, didn't we? The Skylar Woodward contest. And it all revolved around the 9th rack. Woodward in command, and he placed Al-Ghamdi in a hook. Al-Ghamdi, I think he jumped it. He did jump. Missed the 4-ball on the way down. Caught it on the way back. Fluked it. And from that point, never really looked back. Now back to table 1, where they are ready to resume. Must tell you quickly, though, Moritz Loareins from Belgium now 3-0 up on Francisco Sanchez Ruiz.
Yeah, we've got some unknown players, some names that we're not used to seeing paving way. Nineball's tracking, but it's not gone anywhere. And good news for Alcaide, that little timeout that he has just took to regroup himself is a good move, because now he's got to bear down and pot a good 1-ball. Now's the time to start a fight back. Coming up next on this table, this big European battle that we've got going on now, it's going to be 2 Americans. 2 Americans that will be vying for a place in the Mosconi Cup. Oscar Dominguez versus Tyler Steyer. They will do battle. Oh, Alcaide. I thought he'd missed that for a second. Didn't go in clean, but it's gone in. Now it's a good chance. Mario He, he's leading 8-5 over Mats Jens. Mario, class act. We will keep you updated as usual.
Alcaide, not his normal traditional week. Here with his wife and child. You might have seen, if you're very observant, just before the match, he actually went over and gave his daughter a kiss before the start of the game. I'm not saying he's racing around the table, but he just seems to be playing a little more decisively in this rack, and that's got to be a good thing for him, because the vast majority of the big tournaments, the overwhelming majority, which are organised by Matchroom, he will be playing under the restrictions of a shot clock, and that's the rhythm in which he's prospered.
It's amazing how many times you take one of them little timeouts, just stop the rhythm of the match, get out the arena for 5 minutes, which is totally legal, and come back, and something more times than not just changes a little bit. It's a funny thing.
Yeah, the situation on table 2 changing all the time. It's now, once again, parity, 6 racks each. Oliver Sholnoki and Khalid Alghamdi. Dimitri Ungo 3-1 up on Niels Fine. Daniel Corriere 5-2 up on Jan van Leerup. Moritz Neuhausen 2-1 up on Valerie Kuloyens. I can tell you the latest results. Sanjin Perlovanovic from Bosnia has defeated Pius Labutis 9-1. That's the most one-sided match we've seen in this round, together with Albin Aushen's 9-1 win over Badr Alawadi a little earlier.
Safety shot coming up from Kazakis. Looks pretty obvious. Can just chip the 1 ball in behind that 7, that direction, and get the cue ball down towards the bottom left of the table. He's got the green ball and the red ball as blockers. The only thing you'll be thinking about here is he's just weighing up if he can get the cue ball in behind the 7. So we'll see what he decides to do. Well, the safety shots gone all wrong. That is one of David's strongest parts of his game as well. Worked with him at last year's Mosconi Cup, and he was always very impressive in the practice room. Just not quite with it at the moment. Good pot there from Kazakis. Yeah, it may pot this 4-ball. If it does, he's going to have to play it off the rail. And he'd want to be pretty straight on that.
Alcaide. That's a very simple 9-ball, which has been deposited for him to lead Oliver Szolnocki 7-6. That's over on table 2 if you want to watch the stream on the Matchroom Pool YouTube channel.
Looks like he can just nestle this cue ball in behind the purple and play the hook. Both these guys definitely are better with the shot clock. I think when there's no shot clock, they're just up and down too often on the shots, second guessing themselves. Well, maybe he's going to have a go at this. He's got to go in off the rail. Pockets are playing pretty generous this week.
Yeah, there'll be no debate about the shot clock, of course, tomorrow, because it comes into play.
Yeah, as soon as the last 16 starts, we are live on Sky Sports on DAZN. Shot clock will be in operation. Slid in with ease, really, so
as did the purple 5-ball, even though it came away from the cushion somewhat. So hard to decipher a stumbling block here.
yeah, he's done the hard work now. This is just bread and butter stuff now.
No hint of complacency there, or loss of concentration on the 9-ball. In it goes. This is a race to 9. It's the last 64 of the inaugural European Open. Alexander Kazakis leads David Alcaide 5-2, so Kazakis more than halfway to his goal of making the last 32, when the matches will increase, by the way, to a race to 10. So what about these other scores? Well, Shane van Boening and Sebastian Staab are just about to begin on table 15. We'll keep you right up to date with the progress of that one. Darren Appleton now in front against Mohamed Soufi at 6-5. Moritz Neuhausen 3-2 up on Valerie Kuloyens. Sullivan Clark from New Zealand is through against Davy Pia Giovanni 9-5. Congratulations to the teenager from down under.
Cue ball's close to the side, but it was a good break. And this may well be one of the easiest splits off the break we've seen all week. He's got a nice shot on the 2. All the balls are sat there, and good chance to extend that lead by 4. And you just feel the way Alcaide's played in this match. Has he got enough in the tank to form a comeback? Certainly looks highly unlikely.
Yeah, I would extend that to the way he's played throughout the tournament. Just not his normal fire in the belly.
Yeah, Kazakis is lurking around automatic pick area for the Mosconi Cup on the rankings. Yeah, maybe Alcaide. Maybe he's a little bit sick or something, just not quite himself. Who knows? Play a lot of pool tournaments all over the year. You're not always going to feel great at the table.
Well, you were mentioning the Mosconi Cup there. Of course, at the end of this tournament, one player will automatically be selected for Team Europe and Team USA. We know Shane van Boening mathematically certain to be the player for America. As for Europe, well, had Joshua Filler lost that classic a little earlier against Eklund Kachi, it would have meant that Francisco Sanchez Ruiz would have pipped him to the first automatic place had he gone on to the final FSR. Now, of course, the equation is still a movable feast, as it were.
He's a cue ball to slow down. Yeah, he's okay there.
No let up from Kazakis. 6-2 it is. By the way, the winner of this match will go through to the last 32 to take on either Estonia's Jonas Saska or Canada's John Morra. They're yet to begin. Getting to the crunch moments of rack 14 on table 2. And it's Sholnoki who's got the opportunity to draw level. Actually, in this rack, Khalid Al-Ghamdi had first chance, but he overcut a 2-ball from distance. Sholnoki didn't immediately get in from that, but he's banging now, and most certainly 7-7. The writing's on the wall.
Well, this match is all turning out nice for Greece. Another break. And another look at the lowest ball. He actually made the wing ball then, something we've not seen very often, but it did squeeze in. I think now and again it will squeeze in, but you just can't rely on the wing ball anymore.
Mario He, our latest victor. He's defeated Mats Chetner from Norway, 9-5. And the results coming in thick and fast as David Alcaide looks decidedly glum, doesn't he? Yeah, the other result I can tell you is Roman Hebler has defeated Yanni Uski, 9-4. Yes, that 4 ball was very close to the pocket. It might have looked easy to the untrained eye, but it's such a narrow entrance. That was missable. And I'll tell you what, having missed it, how lucky has Kazakis been?
Yeah, he's riding the wave of the pool gods in this match so far. Can Alcaide pull something out the bag? He's going to need a little bit. He's going to try and kick it in the top left pocket. Nearly fluked it in the top corner. He needed something. And of course, the way this match has gone, it stays over the pocket. Kazakis, he gets away with one there.
Yeah, the last 2 shots have entirely summed up the entire contest.
Michael Schneider, he wins 9-3. He played on this TV table. Trying to think who he played now. My mind's gone a little bit blank, but he ended up losing 9-8. It was Francisco Sanchez. He was up in the match. He looked very strong indeed, was very impressed with his game. Ended up making a bit of a mess of that match, but obviously he's still in. He's in the last 32. Interested to see how he goes on.
Yes, he's the second Swiss player to go through into the last 32, together with Ronald Regley and Dimitri Ungo, hoping to complete the hat-trick. No mistake to the middle pocket at that time. Ideal shape on the 8. 6-2 is about to become 7-2.
Sebastian Stab, he's playing SVB. He wins the first rack in that match.
Yes, SVB is out in the sticks on table 15. Here, Kazakis is sticking it to David Alcaide, 7-2 up now. And the way things have gone, you can only imagine, comprehend one winner. Strange things happen in 9-ball pool though, so you can't completely write off Alcaide's hopes just yet. Over on table 2, it is 7-7, as we suspected. Sholnoki and Khalid Algamdi.
Yes.
But the teenager has got the opportunity to reach the hill. He's 4 balls away from doing so. And talking about reaching the hill, that's what Kazakis desires here. Cue ball retained in the middle of the table. The 1 goes in. Pity, though, about the finishing position call of the 2.
Yeah, we see it a lot, don't we? Where the players are faced with this type of shot. The ball there on is near the top rail. Over on table 2, that's the YouTube table. Unfortunately, no commentary on that table, but on this feed we will try and keep you updated. Khalid, the young 17-year-old from Saudi Arabia, is on the hill against Sholnoki. That would be a monumental victory. Can he pull it off?
Tautologist there, Carl. The young 17-year-old. There are no old 17-year-olds, are there?
Well, that is a fair point, Phil. I'll give you that one. Didn't play the bank in the side. This match has been all Kazakis. Look at this one again. He was playing the hook behind the 6. Did get the hook to a degree. But the big news is he's fluked the 2. This has all been caused from that rack, Phil, on the 9-ball when David missed a very easy 9-ball. It's all turned since then, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. That was the 5th rack. Had the 9 gone in, Alcaide would have trailed only 3-2. Instead, he was 4-1 behind and thrust under pressure.
That looked a little messy from Kazakis, and what I mean by that is it's all body move, but it was actually a good shot. Look at his left arm here on the table. Well, it was way after he struck it, looking at that replay.
We told you we would give you a blow-by-blow account of what's happening on table 2. Well, Khalid Algamdi has just squandered a great chance to lay a very telling hook at the start of rack 16. So Sholnoki, 8-7 down, retains hope. But hope fast fading for Alcaide.
Yeah, the writing is on the wall. Kazakis is too good of a player these days to let an 8-2 lead slip. The start of the match has cost Alcaide, and that 9-ball seemed to be the writing on the wall. Kazakis is on the hill.
Yeah, that's all you need in a match of this distance. A couple of untimely mistakes, a couple of favourable rolls, one has to say, for Kazakis as well. And consequently, it's a very one-sided scoreline. Alexander Kazakis leads by 8 racks to 2. Now here is table 2. Oh, is the 4 going to drop? No, it's not. It is not going to drop. Sholnoki thought he might have completed that combination. He did not, Carl.
Yeah, does that 1-ball past the 2? If it does, and he pots it, it is a great chance. It must be tight because he's down looking. Big moments on table 2 there. Well, one thing, Phil, he has really broke well this set. He really has. Alcaide pots that one ball. Chance for the match on table 2.
Yeah, could have near simultaneous finishes here, so I'm sure you don't mind if we give you a split screen.
Alcaide has a really good chance. He's just got to get from the pink 4 that's jammed in that bottom right pocket onto the purple 5.
Konrad Yajushin or Bart Chapler awaiting the winner of Alcaide and Oliver Sholnocki.
Alcaide can go rail first. If he just flicks the rail, the right hand rail first, the cue ball will naturally come over for the purple 5. Kazakis pots the 2, doesn't get on the 3. The AC rail first, it's all about the pace. Pace looks good to me. It's okay, you know, it is okay. Now he's got to swing the cue ball round to get on that green 6. Kazakis has got to play a thin red 3 ball down the rail.
Maybe it's best if you do one match and I do the other call.
I get too excited, that's why I actually like the split screen.
You can never get too excited, Cole.
Well, Kazakis has showed a professional attitude there. Many a player would have attacked the 3. He's decided to play a lock-up safe. And why not when you play it that good?
I'm sure we have many viewers in Saudi Arabia, and if you're watching there, you'll be on the edge of your seats, won't you? Can Khalid Alcaide get the job done? Let youth be served. That's what a lot of people down in Saudi will be saying.
This looks okay. This looks more than okay.
Well, Alcaide has missed the 3 ball completely, so that's pretty much over, that one. And you have to believe, so is this one on table 2.
One good shot for the biggest win of the young man's career. It's also been a good performance from Kazakis. He's done it, you know, he's good on the 9 ball, is Alcaide. He's through to the last 32 with this simple 9 ball. And it's there, what a performance.
I thought Sholnocki was a dark horse for the title, but Khalid Alcaide joins Sullivan Clark as our second teenager in the last 32. What a great result for him. Well done to Khalid Alcaide, and also well done to Alexander Kazakis. He's beaten a world-class player, assuming the 9 ball goes in, by distance here. A no doubter, Alexander Kazakis defeats David Alcaide by